Hi everyone! Today we will learn the story based on the novel Life on Loan by Erich Remarque. This story is about a young woman named Lillian and a race car driver named Clerfayt who meet in a sanatorium and decide to live their remaining days to the fullest. Together, they travel through Europe, experiencing love, joy, and the fleeting nature of life. This story shows how they cherish every moment, knowing that their time is limited.
Life on Loan by Erich Remarque. Lillian Dunkirk, a young woman with delicate features and an incurable lung disease, sat by the window of her room in a Swiss sanatorium. The majestic and eternal Swiss Alps stretched out before her, but their grandeur only highlighted the fragility and brevity of her own life. She knew her days were numbered, but instead of mourning her fate, Lillian decided to enjoy every moment she had left. One day, a man named Clerfayt arrived at the sanatorium, a race car driver with a tired smile and deep eyes. He came to visit his friend, Boris Wolf, who was also gravely ill. Boris, always ready to joke about his condition, was a stark contrast to the lively Lillian. However, when Clerfayt saw her, he felt a strange attraction. She was like a small flame in the dark, weak, but bright, ready to burn out completely. Clerfayt said when they first spoke,
"You're different from the others, Lillian. There's something about you that makes me think life can be more than just waiting for the end."
Lillian smiled, her eyes lighting up.
Isn't that true? We all live on borrowed time, Clerfayt. What matters is how we use that time.
Clerfayt, who was used to speed and risk, didn't know what to say. But Lillian showed him that life was more than just racing to the finish line. Together, they decided to leave the sanatorium and go on a journey to live their remaining days to the fullest. Paris was their first destination. The city of light, full of passion and life, welcomed them with its wide streets, cafes on every corner, and an atmosphere of endless celebration. They stayed in luxurious hotels, dined in the best restaurants, and enjoyed every moment, trying not to think about the future.
You know, Lillian, I never thought I could feel so alive, but with you, every moment feels like a miracle.
Lillian looked at him with a hint of sadness in her eyes.
That's because we know these moments are our last. They matter because they are finite.
With each day, their relationship grew deeper. Clerfayt saw how Lillian's illness was progressing, but she remained full of life and energy. They visited museums, went to exhibitions, and met with Clerfayt's friends, artists, philosophers, musicians, who added new colors to their journey. One of these friends, Morozov, was an artist who saw the world through the lens of death. He spoke with them about life and death as two sides of the same coin.
Death is just a part of life. It gives meaning to everything we do. Without it, life would be empty and meaningless.
Lillian listened to him intently, and Clerfayt could see how these words resonated with her soul. She understood that every moment spent with Clerfayt was a gift, and she intended to make the most of it. They continued traveling across Europe, enjoying each day, until Lillian's health began to seriously decline. At first, there were mild coughing fits, then nightly fevers, and finally, the day came when Lillian could no longer get out of bed. Clerfayt was by her side, holding her hand, watching as her face gradually lost its color and her eyes dimmed. In those eyes, he saw more than just pain. He saw wisdom, acceptance, and deep gratitude.
Clerfayt, I knew this would happen, but I have no regrets. These months with you have been the happiest of my life. I truly lived.
Clerfayt couldn't hold back his tears. He knew their time was running out, but he didn't want to let her go. He wanted to fight, but he understood there was nothing to fight against. Lillian had accepted her fate, and all he could do was accept it with her. The situation became even more complicated when Clerfayt decided to enter a dangerous race to win money for Lillian's treatment. He hoped that the prize would help extend their time together, but the race turned out to be fatal. On the day Clerfayt participated in the race, Lillian stayed at the hotel, anxiously waiting for news. But the news was terrible. Clerfayt had crashed and died instantly. Lillian was devastated when she learned of his death. She realized that Clerfayt was gone and that her world had shattered. Her will to live gradually faded, but she decided to complete their journey. Returning to the sanatorium, Lillian understood that her life had been given meaning by Clerfayt. He had given her the strength to live, and she was grateful for that. When Lillian returned to the sanatorium, her condition worsened beyond recovery. She could no longer travel, but in her thoughts, she kept returning to the happy moments they had shared together. The last days of her life were spent in silence and solitude, but with deep appreciation for what she had experienced. She passed away quietly, without pain, knowing that her life had been filled with meaning and love, even if it was short. In the end, after Lillian's death, life went on, and the sanatorium, which had become the last refuge for many, still stood among the Alps. Boris Wolff, Clerfayt's friend, unexpectedly began to recover. His body seemed to find the strength to fight the illness, and soon he was fully cured. However, his life, though extended, remained filled with fear and constant anticipation of a possible relapse. Unlike Lillian and Clerfayt, who, despite their early deaths, lived their days brightly, fully, and without hesitation, Boris, even though he escaped death, became a prisoner of his own fear of the future. Remarque wanted to show that the true value of life lies not in its length, but in how we live it. Lillian and Clerfayt, though they left early, lived their lives happily and actively, not wasting time on fears and doubts, while Boris, who survived, found himself trapped in the shadow of his fears.
Sanatorium, it means a medical facility for long-term illness, often in a peaceful location. Example, Lillian sat by the window of her room in a Swiss sanatorium, looking at the mountains. Incurable, it means a disease or condition that cannot be cured. Example, Lillian had an incurable lung disease, but she still found joy in every moment. Luxurious, it means very comfortable and expensive. Example, they stayed in luxurious hotels, dined in the best restaurants, and enjoyed every moment. Attraction, it means a feeling of being drawn towards something or someone. Example, when Clerfayt saw her, he felt a strange attraction. She was like a small flame in the dark. Whisper, it means to speak very quietly, so that only a person close by can hear you. Example, Clerfayt, I knew this would happen, Lillian whispered as they sat on the terrace. Determination, it means a strong feeling that you are going to do something and will not allow anything to stop you. Example, Clerfayt's eyes showed determination as he prepared for the race. Devastated, it means feeling very shocked and upset. Example, Lillian was devastated when she learned of his death. Anticipation, it means the action of expecting or waiting for something. Example, Boris's life, though extended, remained filled with fear and constant anticipation of a possible relapse.